You ain't got to if you don't want to. And fix your headset, the little silver thing over.
Hey, that dude ain't called.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Walker. I moved him back to 10. I got my guest sitting right here. Gonna call it 10.
All right. Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll on a beautiful Tuesday. We're here in Baton Rouge with our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM using their studio today. I'm speaking at the Ronald Reagan luncheon at after I leave from here today. So I'm back in Baton Rouge today, and I got a little work to do always here. So anyway, it's great to be back. Always good to be back home. And I say home because I was born and raised in Plaquemine and went to Redemptorist High School, which, by the way, there's no Redemptorist High School. Tommy Fauché is my guest. By the way, Tommy, don't follow me. I went to Redemptorist High School. There's no Redemptorist High School. I went to Northeast Louisiana University. There's no Northeast Louisiana University. You want a degree? I got 2 of them. I give you. Hey, hold up. Hey, I need his mic. I can't hear. Tommy, you can hear yourself?
I can hear you.
Okay, he can hear me. Can you hear Tommy? Tommy? Say hello. Can you hear him, Walker?
Barely.
He said he barely can hear him. All right. Try now. I can't hear him at all. But Walker says he can hear Tommy, but barely. So, yeah, my mic's coming along loud and clear because mine's about to blow my eardrums out. All right, give me a test time. All right, shall we try the other mic?
I can hear him now.
Okay, he keep talking. He said he can hear you now. All right, I can't, but go ahead. Anyway, no. I'm gonna take my headset off for a second. Anyway, Tommy Fauché is with me. Yeah, I was just telling you, degree wise, if you want one, I'll give you $50 because I don't have no school. No. And if Walker can hear you, they can hear you. That's all that matters. Anyway, Tommy Fauché is joined me with Lamoga and a lot of things to talk about with Tommy on the next couple of segments. Tommy, let's start off with this because there's a couple big items out there. One is the legacy lawsuits. We'll start there. The concern with the lawsuits, we actually lost a big case. Oil and Gas lost a big case. Now, there's no money involved in it yet, but it was like $800 million, $790 million case. And then they tell us there's 40 more. What kind of signals does this send to businesses? It kind of blows my mind a little bit.
It's plain and simple. Lawsuits are bad. The cases are bad. The verdict we saw down in Plaquemine in this Chevron case was bad, and it sends terrible signals to the industry. And it also sends terrible signals to the community. You got to remember, when we're talking about companies employ people. We have 306,000 people in this state that rely on the energy industry, that have jobs in one form or fashion, directly or indirectly.
Absolutely.
So when you have lawsuits that are chilling the industry and really stopping future investment, we all have kids and grandkids. Even if you have a job today, if there aren't companies here to employ our kids and grandkids, what do we do? And if the lawsuits are getting in the way, that's just a terrible place.
But let me ask you a question on these legacy lawsuits, though, and all these suits that are still lined up. The legislature, I know there were some bills and some things that we thought would happen that would kind of stifle this. Are there some bills that passed? And if they did pass, will it start immediately? Will it start in 2 years? Talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's passed, because I did talk to somebody that said there's a bill passed that y'all can live with. It wasn't what you wanted, but you could live with it. But the problem with it is in 2027, that's 2 more years to get all the lawsuits in they need. So at that point, it won't matter.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things playing out simultaneously. You have all of the coastal suits. And there's another 40 or so in the hopper. And we're going to come back to this because if the attorneys have their way, they're going to be more.
Oh, no. I think they're lining up. That's why I'm saying that.
We're going to talk about, and that's just in the coastal space because we've got some issues going on down in the Rouge and terrible. The legacy bill that has now almost all the way through the legislature. We got a few days left. So these were amendments made. We had Representative Jacob Landry, the original that brought legislation.
I watched that one.
You had amendments made Sunday afternoon. SB 244. This originally was a bill aimed to reorganize the Department of Energy and Natural Resources. It still does that, but it's also now in an amended version. It brought amendments to try to deal with the legacy lawsuit issues. Look, it's not the bill I would have written by any means.
Yeah.
And my biggest concern still coming out of it is you now have this 26-month time frame. 26 months for attorneys to come in and bring any claims that they want to bring.
That
you can do a lot in 26
that's I brought it up. I said 2 years. You brought up the perfect 26 months. That was my big concern. So in 26 months, I go, hey guys, we cut a deal. It's a great deal. Sounds like it's a better deal for the trial lawyers than it is for y'all. Just my opinion, because now we can sue the hell out of everybody for 26. Then after that, we'll see what happens. Am I wrong by looking at it that way?
We're talking about these legacy cases, the coastal cases. I'm not trying to be overly dramatic, but maybe I am. Every day that we wake up, I assume that there are trial attorneys waking up looking to sue the industry. And I think every day that they have the ability to do that, it isn't good for the future of
But okay, can I ask this though? Because I'm curious. Instead of y'all tripping out, which I wish y'all would. I mean that. I don't mean that. I mean just really fighting the hell out of this. Why do we agree to something like that? Because it sounded like we agreed to it. We agreed. Okay. That's just to settle everything for good. No, it won't, because these lawsuits are still going for 20 more years.
Yeah, look,
Am I wrong by having that assessment?
The imperfection of the legislative process, I think, ultimately leads you often to these types of.
But y'all are number one industry. We ought to be fighting for you. Every elected official ought to be fighting for y'all.
I've been clear with legislators on what we like and what we don't like. And at the end of the day, this bill had some support. It was they were able to get these amendments on. You know, if it was up to me, the stroke of the pen, day one, the lawsuit, the opportunity for lawsuits would have ended. Use that to talk about what's also going on in the parishes. We were down in Lafourche.
That's the coast stuff that
So
you're
that's
talking
the
about. Yes,
coastal
sir.
stuff. But all the same players. I mean, let's
I know that's why I hook it all together, because to me it's still
all-
bombing oil and gas
it's all the
industry.
same
Yeah.
players. And we were down in Lafourche before the parish council last Tuesday night, early last week. A special call parish council meeting to discuss one item to entertain entering into a coastal lawsuit. That council 6-1 smacked it back.
Yeah, that was a blessing. That was a good news bill right there.
But look, just as soon as it's taken care of in Lafourche, we're trying to do the same thing in Terre. Two of the most important parishes, not just for the state's industry, for the nation's industry. Think about that. You've got President Trump in Washington with this American energy dominance agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the gateway to the Gulf of America, Lafourche and Terrebonne, being asked to sue the industry. Think about that.
Oh, no, I haven't. And the people that have jumped up and sued are wrong. Plaquemine, see, this is the problem. Plaquemine Parish, quote, got to win. That's the Carmouche bill. They claim they got to win. And of course, Fifth Circuit already said this is silly. This is ridiculous. But do these people that are on these juries, I'm asking, do they think they're going to get money in their pocket? Do they think there's money coming to them? Because that's not what's happening here.
I didn't get to pull the jury. I would love to know what they were thinking.
But the money eventually is not going to come back to them like they think it is. First of all, attorney's going to get his big chunk.
That's right. Attorneys are going to get a lion's share of it. Look, the industry that exists today, if you don't run them away, is the largest investor in the coast.
By far.
Some of these projects
Nothing's
are
even close, Tommy.
We're doing our best. Think about this. We're coming out of the year earlier this year. You get a new president, which has allowed us to finally start beating back all of the Joe Biden's roadblocks to the offshore industry. You went through 4 years of Joe Biden trying to shut down offshore industry. That would have stopped investment on the coast. So now we finally beat that back. We want to get to a place to where we can do it, where we can keep operating.
Yeah.
We've got the Gulf working. Let's keep these companies. Let's not scare them out of Louisiana, because guess what? They're going to keep producing the jobs, and they're going to keep investing in the coast.
Yeah, I'm just puzzled that Louisiana people could think that shallow, that we can go bust up the biggest industry that once upon a time provided about 80 and 90% of the state's revenue. It's not as big anymore because the economy's grown and people have done different things, but it's still gigantic if you look at the number of people that work in this industry. Y'all should be. It was a lot bigger. Yeah, but you know.
About the companies. Think about the men and women.
Real quick before we take a break. Can the industry literally finish moving? You know, there was a time when it's, they can't move, they can never move. But the times are different. Technology is different. Could the industry finish and get up and leave and say, and we lose 90% more of it? Is that a real possibility that I just scared that?
No, I think it's always real. Companies go where they're welcome. They invest where the investments are treated well. And they have options. They have options in the United States. They have options around the world.
I think they have options too. All right, let me take a break. We'll come back and wrap up Tommy Fauché with Lamogo. Louisiana Oil and Gas, always a big player in here. A couple more questions for him. I'll get him out of here. Matt Moscona is going to join us at 10:30. We'll talk a little World Series and the Tigers. So all that, looking forward to visiting with Matt. And Brett Guyman's going to slide in here too. Also a big meeting last night. We'll talk to them as well. So all that coming up. Just hang tight. I always put
Attention, Louisiana parents. It's time to take a stand to protect kids online. App stores are the gatekeepers of the digital world, yet they prioritize profit over child safety. Nearly every app comes with contracts that allow companies to track kids, sell data, and access their exact location or camera. House Bill 570 requires app stores to get a parent's approval before kids can download apps on their devices, giving the power back to parents to decide what their children do online. Parents need to say, enough is enough. House Bill 570 holds app stores accountable and prevents big tech from being able to contract with children without your knowledge. Contact your legislators today and urge them to vote yes on HB 570 for App Store accountability. Together, we will protect Louisiana's children. Learn more at lafamilyforum.org.
They just don't play by the rules,
by the
but
Louisiana Family Forum.
Giving them. Why?
Louisiana's lawsuit culture is no secret. We see it everywhere. Billboards, buses, smartphones, tablets, and TVs. In just 6 months, trial lawyers spent $21 million on advertising. Over 450,000 ads, one every 34 seconds. Lawsuits making trial lawyers rich while killing jobs and driving up costs on everything we buy. It's time for a change of scenery. We need jobs, not lawsuits. Join us. Louisiana works better when we work together.
Wildlife Land Group is United Country office in Lafayette. United Country has been in business for over 100 years, folks. Selling land is what they do best. Timberland, farmland, hunting, recreational land, commercial land, you get it. You see ranch properties, cattle ranch, they do it all, folks. Jay Davidson is the broker licensed in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Why don't you give them a call? 337-345-1797. That's Wildlife Land Group, 337-345-1797.
LA 22-13419. Offices in Alexandria, Lafayette, and Marksville. Results may vary.
Some injuries need more than just a lawyer. They need a lawyer with the resources to investigate the accident and knowledge to get you the medical treatment you need. A lawyer who understands the treatment you're going through and future prognosis. In other words, a lawyer who does it right. I'm Brian Kubero. Call me at 337-HELP-NOW or visit doitright.com.
Men, fathers, dads, grill masters, and kings of the recliner. It's finally your big day And Coshada Casino Resort
Hey.
is giving you what you really
What you
want.
got?
A new
If
Ram
you could
truck,
turn
a
his
new
mic up,
ATV,
I don't know,
and a
it
big
would be
final
helpful.
cash.
I mean, you can
It's the
hear him, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's the
$100,000
loudest.
Father's Day
Okay,
truck and
okay.
cash
He
giveaway.
got
this
his mic
Sunday.
turned up, Walt.
And starting at 2
All right.
p.m.
All right.
every half hour,
He
two
said he could
guys
hear
pick
me,
a
just
lure from the
loud.
tackle
He
box
lived in
game
Brooklyn.
board for a chance to win up to $5,000 in cash. Then at 6 p.m., one lucky gentleman takes home a new Dodge Ram truck, a Polaris ATV, and $6,500 in cash. It's so easy to enter. You can start earning entries right now while playing your favorite slots or table games with your free Advantage Club card. Don't miss the big $100,000 Father's Day truck and cash giveaway this Sunday at Coshada, Louisiana's largest casino resort and Louisiana's best bet.
I'm to learn to live with
I could do it.
But
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart
I gotta
surgery.
realize
All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Why you think it's good. And get your head. I think you hear.
Can I hear it?
You got it.
Let's see. Yeah.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, Talk 107.3 FM. We're here in Baton Rouge, Guarantee Broadcasting. Appreciate them putting up with us. By the way, because we don't want to forget, it is always the Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline if you want to be part of the program. Tommy Fauché, nice enough to stop by in studio. Actually, first time we ever got to meet in person.
Yeah, which
And,
I
he
was
got-
excited about.
And the first thing Tommy said was, "Damn, you ugly." And the first, second thing Tommy told me was, "Boy, you look good on the radio."
And I know you were thinking, damn, you're a hell of a lot shorter than I thought you were, too. So, you know, look,
Well,
we both
I don't see most people eye to eye because they're not 6'5", so don't even worry about that. But
love it.
yeah, don't. So before I get to a question, I want to ask just a little bit about carbon capture. What happens with all this when you let? You say, well, it's a good deal. We got a good deal. I told you how I talked to, but 27 months later, does that still a good deal? Depending on what happens between now and 27 months when it's supposed to kick in.
Yeah, look.
That's kind of like the tort reform laws. We're going to have all this stuff, but it ain't going to kick in for a while. So now you got attorneys lining up to do more lawsuits real quick. So you see what I'm saying?
What we know for sure is there are more lawsuits coming.
Yeah.
How many between now and 2 years from now? I don't know. So in 2 years, we'll
Can
get
I
back
ask you a
together.
quick question? What happens in other states? They're not getting sued as much? They protected? What?
The litigation environment in Louisiana compared to other states is just terrible.
And that's the bottom line.
Not just oil and gas. That's across the business.
Still got the same problem.
Together.
Turn up. He's just real low. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. Huh? He's all the way up now?
Yeah.
No, you're not that kind
As
of
I'm
low.
sliding down the chair
No,
here.
but I hear you better now.
Good.
So that's my big fear.
Litigation environment in Louisiana is just terrible across the board.
Yeah.
But that's,
By the way, if you don't fix
something we have
it,
to work on.
if they don't fix it, well, but the problem is we say that we don't never fix it. Now, it's your fault, but we don't fix it.
I agree.
Okay. One carbon capture. You knew I couldn't get you out of here because, I'm totally.
I came here just so you could ask me about
I'm
carbon
so
capture.
obsessed with getting rid of it. It's ridiculous. But here's the big question because people want to know if today you got a call and they said, hey, they cut every carbon capture credit money out. It's all over today. Number one, what happens to these places where all this carbon's been put? And number two, do you continue doing what you've been doing? Is it a big deal? You just get rid of it totally? Just give me your opinion. Today, you had no money because I was told, not by you, Mark Ecker was on to say, it's an economic decision question. That's it.
That's
for him. Okay. What would happen?
I think if the credits went away today, some projects go away, some don't. It really is an economic discussion. There really is, and I know some people don't believe it. There really is a market for these lower carbon products. You may not agree with the process that gets there, but there are people in the world who want to pay for them, and our companies are in the business of serving markets.
But understand, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that if y'all spend all the money on it. I have a problem with my tax dollars going to that. And that's why I'm asking if they cut it. You saying some will stay, then what happens Who monitors all this carbon dioxide that's been put in the ground and now it's dangerous? Who monitors all? Do you just shut the wells down? What happens?
So I don't think it being in the ground is dangerous, but that's what we believe from all the science that we've seen. At the end of the day, I think the state, even as they're permitting these projects, is looking at long-term viability. Credit or no credit, anytime you build or permit an industry, you want to know what the plan looks like, not 6 months or a year from now, but some determined amount of time down the road. And I think the state's looking at that as they permit them. But look, I really do believe the industry, the companies that are investing in carbon capture are the same companies we've trusted to go into 2 miles of water offshore to build
but how much money did they get to do that
and
compared to what they
but
get
what
now?
I'm saying is, on the safety side, it's why I say you have to absolutely trust their science. And
Tommy, but if I had to ask you this question, what does it really produce? It doesn't produce anything. I didn't say some people didn't want it. It doesn't produce anything. Somebody said, well, we put carbon in Cokes and Sprite. You ain't putting that crap in Cokes and Sprite. That's what I'm saying. What does it really produce? And I don't think it produces anything that's sufficient unless you believe that the world's burning up. We need to get rid of some carbon.
Well, look, and that's a whole other argument for another day.
That's the one I will fight you on.
Look,
by the
at
way.
the end of the day, the energy being produced that's going to go into the manufacturing process, whether it's the Hyundai steel, whether it's the gas being burned to create power.
You can do that without carbon capture. You know that.
Well,
you can do it totally without carbon capture.
Yes, you can produce the energy, but when you take the carbon out of the atmosphere, the companies who want that low carbon power, they see that as a necessary part of the process. And we have the ability to be able to serve that market.
I could buy the necessary if they could show me what it produces, and I don't think it produces anything. But once again, it's here now, and I know, but I just wonder if it ever stops. Hey, listen, how can people find out more about what you guys are doing and fighting legacy in the coastal real quick?
Look, I think stay close to us. I mean, whether it's Lamoga social media, Lamoga.com, there's a few things you should know. You should know that we're working hard on these lawsuits. Go look on our website, Lamoga.com, at our new economic impact plan, because at the end of the day, that's the money and jobs and the families we're protecting by fighting back on the lawsuit.
All right, Tommy Fauci, thank you very much. We got to go. We'll be right back.
Thanks. All of a sudden at the end, I could hear it. It was all great.
Hey.
Walker, was that better on his mic?
I mean, I wouldn't say
Attention,
not really.
Louisiana parents. It's time to
But
take a
ain't nothing
stand to
on
protect
our end,
kids
huh?
online.
No.
My mic's coming
Children are
along
the
great, right?
gatekeepers of the
You're
digital
fine.
world, yet they prioritize profit
right,
over
that's it.
child safety.
We're
Nearly
looking
every
for the
app
call
comes
at
with
10.
contracts that allow companies
right.
to track kids, sell data, and access their exact location or camera. House Bill 570 requires app stores to get a parent's approval before kids can download apps on their devices, giving the power back to parents to decide what their children do online. Parents need to say enough is enough. House Bill 570 holds app stores accountable and prevents big tech from being able to contract with children without your knowledge. Contact your legislators today and urge them to vote yes on HB 570 for App Store accountability. Together, we will protect Louisiana's children. Learn more at lafamilyforum.org. Paid for by the Louisiana Family Forum.
Every month, my family and I feel the sting of Louisiana's sky-high insurance rates. But this year, we finally saw someone stand up for us. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple. While trial lawyers and even the governor tried to keep the old Sue Happy system in place, Tim Temple fought back, pushing for reforms to lower our insurance rates. Thanks to his courage, we're seeing progress. And I trust him to keep fighting for us. Thank you, Commissioner Tim Temple. Paid for by Lyra Inc.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Comment tu t'appelles?
Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life, celebrating over 16 million subscriptions sold. Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Testnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's ALL to 321-321.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
They do here. Discover's accepted at the place I love to shop. Get it with the times.
I got that guy
With the times?
You're playing the
green
lead.
carbon stuff.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
You're listening to the home of the Moon Griffon Show.
Man, what should be the
on
normal
News Talk
temperature right now?
96.5 KPEL.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road, Baton Rouge, in conjunction with our good friends. Talk 107.3 FM, guaranteed broadcasting. It's the Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline if you want to be a part of it. We do have Guyman's on the way. We're going to squeeze him in here for the last part of this segment. I've got Brendan Dubrock's going to call in. He was at the carbon capture deal last night. It was kind of wild. I want him to kind of report in. And at 10:32, my friend Matt Moscona is going to slide in here. Matt covers all things sports, LSU and the Saints, and we'll have him in talking about the World Series. So have a little bit of fun and visit with Matt. It's always good to talk to Matt and have a little bit of fun with him. By the way, and one funny. So I wake up this morning and I do prep at night, and I do it in the day, and I came across this Louisiana summer. How temperatures expected to be. And the first line goes, Presley Bo Tyler, this reporter. For this summer, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, has predicted hotter than average temperature across the U.S. And you know, that's what they predicted last year. And they predicted that the year before. They predicted that the year before. They predicted that. They predicted that every year for the last 20 years. You know, right? You know what the temperature should be right now? If we're having record temperature every year, we ought to be closing in on 200 degrees. Record temperature every year. That's record temperature. They want you to, they put that in people's mind. But if you really go back and average over 20 years, We ought to be closing in on 200 degrees. Summer heat is expected to reach its peak in July. You know, that happens every year since I've been born. I don't know about before, but for 64 years, it's always reached record heat in July. And yet, this is what they're telling us again. Let me ask y'all a question. We run in the 90s, sometimes 100 degrees in the summer. Night times are usually about mid-70s. I'm not a meteorologist, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn, but it's a fact. So my question to you is, what was the temperatures like 60 degrees at night and only in the around 80 degrees? Is that why we bickering? Because it's so much different than it used to be? I mean, I guess the average temperature at night should be about 50 right now, 60 degrees maybe. I remember my whole life it being about mid-70s when you get in the summer. And I remember the temperatures being in the mid to upper 90s my whole life when you get in the summer. Record temperature. If it's a record every year, how come the temperature ain't saying this year we're going to be at 250 degrees and nighttime temperatures at 90? Don't y'all find that kind of interesting? This year, Louisiana expected to experience a brutal summer with high temperatures in the 90s, heat index feeling like 100 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. That's what they said last year, the year before, the year before, the year before, the year before. And you keep going back and forth, and every year they say it's worse. I need to get my meteorologist on this. Currently, the forecast average summer heat index for Louisiana ranges from 90 to 95, according to NOAA's heat index forecast. Is that about what it does every year? How is this news? I'm just kind of curious. How is this news? But yet, this is what they tell us every single year. I'm just waiting for temperatures to hit close to 200 degrees because every year is a record. If every year is a record, you know, what happens with a record? The records are made to be broken. So if the record was 95 30 years ago, and then next year they said it was record high, then maybe we go to 96. And next year, 97. You see? Work your way up. It's just silly. It's almost silly to watch the forecast. I can tell you what it's going to do. Every summer, it's going to be hot. Every summer, we're going to have storms come through. And every summer, no, not every summer. A lot of summers, you get a hurricane. Every summer, we don't get hit, thank the Lord. But every summer, there's hurricanes. There's always going to be hurricanes. And they're no more bigger than they were a year before and 10 years and 40 and 50 and 100 years ago. They're just not. But that's what they keep telling people. So I just kind of saw that and go, wow, they're telling us it's going to be hot this summer again. John, I would have never figured out it was going to be hot this summer. John, why you wearing a T-shirt? You act like it's hot out there. you act like it's hot. I'm surprised you didn't wear shorts. I mean,
flip flops right now. Man.
By the way, last summer you probably wore flip flops and shorts and T-shirts.
Yeah.
Okay, and the year before that,
the year before that as well.
Okay, and I bet you do it next year.
Okay,
too.
You got me.
Okay,
maybe so.
But the day you have to wear the only person I've seen wear warm clothes and mink fur and all that on, one person in the whole country right
Who's that?
Angel Reese.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
She went to the ball game the other day, and they took, of course, she's a very beautiful girl. She's real tall, and they taking pictures of her, and she got fur hat, fur coat on, and all that stuff. Is it not hot in Chicago? She's the only one.
Think, right?
Why you don't have your jacket on me? That lady there has a jacket on.
Okay, that is a good point.
Oh, no. Hold up, though. She's wearing a jacket. I didn't even think. I'm not going to mention your name, sugar. I'm not going to do that to you. But she's wearing a jacket. I think she wore the jacket. because she believes that it's cool in this building.
Right.
I don't think she wore a jacket because she thinks it's cold outside. Am I right? Am I right? Look at her saying yes. Hey, give me a winner. They might put me on Wheel of Fortune one day.
Hey, there you go.
You know, I almost got one of them puzzles right one time.
Just one time.
I almost got one time, and then my wife laughed at me. She said, you missed it again. Oh, my God. Anyway, that's by the way, the other thing to watch for, and I got this last night. Boy, if y'all knew where I got this from. I've been telling y'all, Cassidy's trying to work a slick deal where they're trying to take our closed primaries and trying to make it to where the closed primaries won't have a runoff. In other words, when we have the closed primaries next year. Remember, it's not just for Cassidy. It's for all the congressional races. We got closed primaries. Republicans would choose their candidate. Democrats would choose theirs. And the Republicans, they're trying to get it to where there's no runoff. Whoever gets the plurality of the vote. In other words, if Cassidy could get 25% and you got 6 people in it, he would become the nominee. Okay, they're trying to force this. So I found out the other day, Scott McKay did a great job on the hayride of putting this out, and a lot of Republicans are trying to stop it, okay? Rightfully so. But yesterday they were able to kill it. It's an amendment they're trying to put. Now they're looking to put, I got this from very reliable sources. It's not over yet. Now they're hoping on Thursday, Cameron Half-Ass Henry, Senator Cameron Half-Ass Henry, is trying to put this amendment on another bill. They're not going to quit. Thursday's the last day. 6 o'clock Thursday, they're done. They're trying to stick it on a bill at the end of the session to where we have closed primaries but no second round where somebody has to get to 50% plus one. Folks, this is dangerous, and Republicans ought to be upset if this comes out and is passed. Just telling you, ought to be upset. Hey, Walker, let's go ahead and take a break. Brett Guyman's in the house. We're going to visit with Brett. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. So I can't. You got guys coming in here. I like Brett. If me and Brett talk, we just did real just like me and you. You done got him from 9:30 you had. And then you can kick that up.
Attention Louisiana parents.
He said,
it's time to take a stand to protect kids online. App stores are the gatekeepers of the digital world, yet they prioritize profit over child safety. Nearly every app comes with contracts that allow companies to track kids, sell data, and access their exact location or camera. House Bill 570 requires app stores to get a parent's approval before kids can download apps on their devices, giving the power back to parents to decide what their children do online. Parents need to say, enough is enough. House Bill 570 holds app stores accountable and prevents big tech from being able to contract with children without your knowledge. Contact your legislators today and urge them to vote yes on HB 570 for App Store accountability. Together, we will protect Louisiana's children. Learn more at lafamilyforum.org. Paid for by the Louisiana Family Forum.
Feel like we need to go, I can back
With 5 Louisiana locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill when I'm traveling the great state of Louisiana. I love the food.
No, but I want you to
it's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. Their menu has all your favorites.
I'm gonna let you do more.
Nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas,
so I'm gonna
tacos,
focus on
fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You can go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, and on College Saloon in Lafayette. I'm talking great food, great service, and great margaritas. The best Mexican food with the Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill, Shreveport on Line Avenue, Baton Rouge on Government Street, and Holland Road, New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue, and College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I'll see you at Superior Grill.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi,
if you
this
have
is Kerry
to,
Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm.
You heard me, though?
You don't hear fast-talking
he
disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100%
We might hook him up, you and him.
The Bryson
Let
Law
everything
Firm
die
primarily focuses on one thing, IRS
That way
fraud.
you can get away from this.
We're regulated by the Louisiana Bar
Them
Association,
lobbyists, they do
and we
the
have
same
an
thing. They
A-plus
involve
rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS
You glad when
issues
it's
are
over?
serious legal issues. The Bryson Law Firm can help you navigate your way to the best resolution plan, and we will tell you upfront how much you can expect to pay us throughout this process. So before you send money to some out-of-town high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are located in Lafayette, Louisiana, and we have offices across the state. Call today at 1-855-LA-TAX-HELP to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, or visit BrysonLawFirm.com. LSBA filing number LA2416924.
Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store. Visit the store for a free test walk in Lafayette on Ambassador Caffrey Parkway, or in Baton Rouge in Town Center, or at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Join parents and experts at Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help you help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything. Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
You get mad?
What's hot?
Hi, y'all. Welcome back to the Moon Griffon Show on the road, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Our good friends Guarantee Broadcast and Talk 107.3 FM. Make sure you check them out when you're here. All of our great stations around the state. Representative Brett Guyman joins me, and he's no stranger to the program. Good to see you, man.
Hey, how are you?
I'm better than you.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm fighting a bad allergy attack. I'm allergic to Baton Rouge, so you'll have to give me a little bit.
If I get a cough after you leave, I'm not coming back to.
Well, I hear you. By the way, while I got you on the air here, since
here we go.
He's shaking his head.
Remember, I got 3 hours a day to go in.
Right. Yeah, my good friend said you were giving me a hard time the other day on the air, so here I am. I'm here. So
I gave you hell, but I've given so many people hell I can't remember what it was about. No, it was. It's dealing with the eminent domain, and it's dealing. We're still stuck on this carbon capture craziness. But you've actually fought really hard to get an eminent domain bill passed where people can be happy. I know it's House Bill, Senate Bill 244, and there's a lot in that bill now, and I think you've added amendments. So let's talk a little bit about the bill, but what you're trying to get passed first of all.
Yeah, sure. So we've been fighting the eminent domain issue really for a long time. And I think it's the #1 issue. The highest level of opposition on carbon capture is people do not want a private company to be able to take use of their land without their consent. And so that's been the battle line, the battle cry for most people. Actually, I think everyone agrees with that in opposition to carbon capture. Whether you like carbon capture or not, you should never be able to take someone's property without their consent. That's what we believe, and that's what we've been fighting for. So, look, we've had a lot of bills that were proposed, and most, if not all, have died and not made it through the process. But on Senate Bill 244, which is the Department Reorganization Bill, we were able to amend the language into that is very helpful to our cause, those of us who believe in property rights. It's not a all-out 100% win like South Dakota has, where they totally have banned the use of eminent domain for carbon capture projects.
Where was that at?
South Dakota.
Okay, I'm going to get my real estate agent to check.
Yeah. And look, I've been following that state very closely. They've been fighting it for now going on 4 years, and it's been a long, hard battle. We're in year one and a half. So we're
you're battling billion-dollar companies.
Oh, yeah.
What you're battling.
It's the same battle there. It's the same battle in the state of Iowa. They have a huge 5-state project up there, a carbon capture project, and it's a pipeline that goes through 5 different states, and so they're fighting the same things we are. But anyway, so we are we were able. I have a House Bill 601. A lot of people have been talking about House Bill 601, wanting to have it heard on the floor. House Bill 601, the form it came out of committee, said that you cannot use eminent domain, and except for a clear title issue. If you have a clear title issue, we would allow that exclusion to that prohibition to use eminent domain for a carbon capture pipeline. So that language is in Senate Bill 244, because it says you can, in Senate Bill 244 as amended, it says you can only use eminent domain if you have a clear title issue, which that basically is the language coming from House Bill 601, or if you're considered a common carrier. And we took that language from the state of Texas. We took that language from the state of Iowa. We took that language from the Supreme Court case in South Dakota, all using common carrier as kind of the benchmark before you can even apply for the ability to use eminent domain, you have to be considered a common carrier. Okay. And that's a pipeline that is for hire. It carries a public good. It's transporting a product for multiple people.
Carbon capture doesn't do that.
Well, that's where we're leading with this. That's where I'm leading with this. So the good news about that is now the company would have to become a common carrier, be regulated by the PSC, the Public Service Commissioner, which would make it safer as well. And then for a landowner who wanted to challenge that ability for them to take their property, the use of their property without consent, the court would have to rule that it's for a public good. It's a public benefit. Mm-hmm. And so all that ties together, and it gives a landowner a much stronger case in court. Also, this is a key point. Currently if we do nothing, Moon, like if we just stop and we lose or we quit or go home, the legislature over the years in 2009 and 2020 have given the ability for a private company to use eminent domain for private gain. We've given them the ability to do that on CO2 storage pipelines. So right now they have the ability to use your property without your consent. And we put language in that says we believe it's a public benefit because of greenhouse gas, okay, because of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. We have that in state law right now today. So the court would have to look at the guidance from the legislature to say, just to see how we view this product, and we view it in state law right now as a public benefit. So our court case is going to be much weaker. We removed that language in the set of amendments. That's gone now. And we said you cannot use eminent domain unless you have clear title.
You can't use eminent domain and this green carbon stuff. It's thrown out. They can't use that.
That's correct. So now put yourself in a position of someone comes to you for eminent domain use because they've been deemed a common carrier. If you want to challenge that case in court under Article 1, Section 4 of our Constitution.
But does this this goes back to the Senate?
It goes back what?
Does this bill go back to it's a
conference? Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
This
no,
be a
I was just trying to tell
bill?
I was just trying to tell you what's in the bill.
No, but is this a conference committee
we
bill?
We are now in concurrence. So we passed it out of the House.
As is.
As in the state that I'm speaking of it now. And it's sitting in the Senate to be concurred. All they have to do is vote. 20 people vote yes.
Okay. Hard question. You got 20 votes. Do you feel like you got 20 votes?
I mean, the governor is 100% behind this bill. And so I would hope that we do. Senator Hinchkins, my colleague on the Senate side, Chairman Hinchkins, is 100% behind the bill.
But the governor being behind the bill is gigantic.
No, it's
any bill. Yeah. Any bill.
And look, let me tell you this. This is what else everyone needs to know. We've been playing defense since the day this bill passed off the floor with the amendments. We've had to defend what we've done. And it's been a constant, almost 24-hour attack on trying to strip out that language that we have in there. And so if people are listening and they want to help, let your senator know that you'd like to see them vote yes to concurrence on Senate Bill 244.
Somebody had a great question. This is an executive order, so this won't have anything to do with you. I'm just curious. It said Bella was issued an executive order saying Louisiana will be carbon zero by 2050. It's the executive order, which, by the way, is 25 years. I mean, you're going to be really old by then. Yeah. But my question is, do you get rid of stuff like that?
Executive order?
Yeah, I mean.
I'm not sure where that executive order sits. I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't know if that's still standing.
That would have to be something the governor would have to get rid of. If it's an executive order, I mean, Trump comes in and gets rid of executive orders.
Yeah,
Biden had it all the time.
I don't know that we're still under that. I really can't answer that.
Okay. No, it was a guy. It was a person that wanted to know if they knew about that. Yeah. Let me sum this up for you. I'm gonna let you sum it up for me. Mm-hmm. So, what do you like that we did dealing with the carbon and eminent domain, and what are some things that you feel like we could have done that we lost on?
No, that's easy. So I like the position we're in now, even though it's incredibly complicated to explain to people, and I get that. It'd be much easier to say, hey, we banned it like South Dakota. It's gone. You can't use it. And for me personally, that's where I would like us to be. But we're almost there. We're very close to that. Okay. We're in a much better position. We've improved our landowner protections. And can we still fight to get more later down the line? Of course. But I think we're in a very good position. Also, we have language that's inserted that says that public comment can be substantially considered in the permit process. So if the public is just in an outrage and the commissioner and the secretary can use that public comment in determining whether they want to issue a permit. So we've done some good things. And we've taken a lot of licks as well. Look, there were a lot of bills that are dealing with safety that I thought probably should have passed and should have been considered.
Well, y'all got some stuff killed in committee.
Yeah. Oh, well, a bunch.
That's what I meant.
Really, everything died in committee. The reason we're having to hijack other bills, and I hate to use that word, but amend other bills, is because most of ours were gone. My House Bill 601 is alive and on the floor, but we've been using it. We've been saving it because we were trying to use Senate Bill 244 because it already has gone through the Senate. House Bill 601, had it passed the House floor, and I believe it would have probably had a hard time getting through the Senate. So getting this language on this bill, in my opinion, was a better way.
But you mentioned a governor being behind, which is good. That doesn't necessarily mean the Senate concurs. A lot of good stuff dies over there. I don't care who's for what.
It could very well die. And look, I would say this, and I've told.
You think it's too big to fail, really?
I think it's going to pass.
Okay.
My question is, are we going to be able to hold this in there? If this doesn't stay in there, I think it falls apart.
His name is Brett Guyman. Let me take a break. We're coming back top of the hour. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Matthew James, Tax Reduction Hotline. Be right back. Hey, folks, have you heard about Miracle 2? Oh, my God, you need to. You're getting ready to hear about it. It's a non-toxic, all-natural skincare product. Can be used for all kind of cleaning needs, such as regular soap, moisturizing soap, neutralizer, gel, lotion. These products are safe to use on people, pets, and other cleaning needs, from easy cleans to the biggest mess you know of. These products are manufactured, you ready, and distributed right here in West Monroe, Louisiana. Right here in Louisiana. We've been around in business for 45 years. Google or find out on social media to check out Miracle 2 products or give us a call at 1-800-277-5444. That's 1-800-277-5444. Go see what our customers have to say about Miracle 2. There are tons of testimonies online of people who have used the loved Miracle 2. Miracle 2, you owe it to yourself to go check them out. 800-277-5444.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Remember the 1970s? A lot has changed, but one thing has not changed: Washington's regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. Learn more at nab.org/modernize the rules. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station.
Questioning the response to the Los Angeles protests. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We all see the continuous loops on TV, but this looks nothing like the George Floyd protests or the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in 1992.
Democratic Congresswoman Betty McCollum calls premature and escalatory President Trump's deployment of the National Guard and Marines who aren't in L.A. yet, now undergoing training.
Mr. Secretary, this is a deeply unfair position to put our Marines in. Their service should be honored. It should not be exploited.
The Congresswoman was addressing Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at a House hearing. He replied to her George Floyd protest reference.
I recall 2020 quite well, when Governor Walz abandoned a police precinct and allowed it to be burned to the ground. and also allowed 5 days of chaos to occur inside the streets of Minneapolis.
And he defended the Guard deployment a short time ago.
We believe that ICE, which is a federal law enforcement agency, has the right to safely conduct operations.
This after a fourth day and night of protests against illegal immigration raids, with some demonstrators in masks clashing with law enforcement again.
And they've committed a whole rash of crimes, whether it's lighting Waymos on fire, shooting commercial-grade fireworks at police officers, not hurling insults at them, hurling actually cinder blocks and bricks at the police.
LA County DA Nathan Hochman tells Fox those arrested will be prosecuted. That hearing with Secretary Hegseth is focused on the military's budget, and later today, he's going to go to North Carolina with the commander-in-chief.
The president will visit Fort Bragg to kick off the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. Fort Bragg is one of the largest military bases in the world and is home to the Army's Airborne Corps and Special Operations Command. President Trump will address soldiers and their families.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. They're in mourning in Austria. After a school shooting this morning in the city of Graz, 8 students were killed. So was an adult shot by a 21-year-old who brought 2 guns to the school and then killed himself. America's listening to Fox News.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info's protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name Clay as the promo code at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
When asked what was most important when buying supplies, many business owners and purchasing agents said price was important. But what was more important was reliability and great service. Hose Source offers you great service and stellar reliability, all at an affordable price. Construction, pipeline, agriculture, marine, trucking, oil and gas. Hose Source, many people's #1 choice for all of your hose needs. Call 337-552-2085 or online at hosesourcellc.com. Hose Source, your one-stop hose shop.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
When everybody
they accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
47 years. That's how long Stan's Tire and Auto has been fixing vehicles in Acadiana. 47 years. They have the experience and know-how to fix your car, truck, or SUV. AC systems, alignments, tires, suspensions, brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, you name it, Stan's can do it. Stan's is right here at 3203 Johnston Street in Lafayette and 501 West Admiral Doyle Drive in New Iberia. Call them at 981-5033 and in New Iberia at 337-547-7826. Online at stansautocenter.com. Stan's Tire and Auto, here to help Acadiana. LA 22-13415. Offices in Alexandria, Lafayette, and Marksville. Results may vary.
Driving kids to school or picking them up after. There's no worse time to become the victim of someone else's carelessness. I'm Brian Kubero, and when I get a call and kids are involved, doing it right takes on an even deeper meaning. You can start by calling me, Brian Kubero, at 337-HELP-NOW or visit doitright.com.
Looking for a bold, conservative voice that cuts through the noise? Tune in to The Josh Guillory Show, where common sense meets current events. Every weekday from 3 to 5 p.m., Josh tackles the hot topics that matter most to you, from Louisiana politics to national headlines, with no spin and no apologies. It's real talk for real conservatives. Catch The Josh Guillory Show, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5, only on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Yeah, he just got on.
Okay, no, we're good. I'm going to keep Brett with me as well. That silver thing over there, your volume on your head.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Talk 107.3 FM. Glad to be here. Glad to have them. It's one of our great our affiliates are so good. I'm so humbled. Been with them a long time and feel like we're family all over the state. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline, if you want to be part of the program. All right. I kept Representative Brett Guyman around for a few more minutes, but I do have Brendan Dubrock on that joins us again, who was at the big powwow last night on the carbon capture meeting. Brendan, how you doing?
It was a great turnout last night.
Yeah, and by the way, I got Representative Guyman, he's been in a lot of these meetings too. And before I get to you, Brendan, hold on. Brett, you've been at these meetings, and I know they can be very informative, and they can people trip out too, because people are passionate about something. You're talking about eminent domain.
Yeah.
They really passionate. Is that where you get most of the passion from? People worried about their property and their land and their health?
I think it's the unknown, the fear of what they've heard about the safety issues, taking their property, the whole idea of the Green, New Deal. A lot of people just hate it for that basic reason that, why are we even doing this silly, process? So it's a combination of all. I have just found, and I don't know what the gentleman on the call is going to agree with me or not, I just have found that eminent domain is the highest threshold of opposition.
Yeah, Brendan, so you was at the meeting last night. Talk a little bit about what went on and how did people react and kind of some of the things that were said. Walker, I lost him.
He just hung up.
Oh, he can't talk if he just hung up. If you can get him back, he must be in a bad cell. But no, I'm going to make a meeting. I was really.
He's back.
Okay, Brendan, you with me?
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
All right, no. What I was asking you to do, talk a little bit about what went on last night. What was the highlights and low points and stuff like that?
It was a great turnout. We had roughly 551 people that were there. And, the high point was the presentation given by the geologists from the oil industry that talked about, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. And he basically explained to everybody that what CCS is not the same as what is being pumped to the pipelines with carbon to go and push oil and gas to the surface for that, So that was a good point that was made. And then he talked about the very dangers of, putting these plumes underground where they're wanting to put, 200 million tons of this across our forest and natural wetlands of Louisiana.
You did they talk a lot about him? And I've got Representative Guyman here. Did they talk about eminent domain? Did they talk about people's private property and things of that nature? Did that come up in this?
It did. The group from the Louisiana CO2 Alliance, Miss Renee, that is over that Facebook group, they're following the bills that Representative Guyman is putting forth, and that it got pushed back 4 times and it keeps getting pushed back. So hopefully today that some of these amendments that they're trying to get put into these Guyman's bill, that we got to let people know to contact their senators, because I do believe it's going to the Senate floor today.
Yeah. Let me ask you real quick. So it is going to Senate floor. We talked about this a little earlier.
Yeah, we need right now, the position we are in with, 3 days left in session, we need everyone to ask their senator to concur
Senate Bill
244 because we do have some pro landowner language in that insert into that bill currently, and we need it to stay in there.
Yeah, so you need the Senate not mess with this bill.
That we need it to not be touched.
If they were to do one change, you got to come back to the House.
That's correct.
Wow.
That's correct.
So yeah, Brennan, I would say you're right by telling people they need to get in charge. But did land? And I'm curious because with Brett's in here, did they talk a lot about land and property and protecting property?
Yeah, that was really the hot topic because people did not really understand that that they can claim and use eminent domain for these pipelines and the hazards that's come across their lines. They did not know that these companies could come onto your property 24/7, 365 days a year without your notice. Yeah. And one of the things that I have some questions still that if these companies have eminent domain on your right, can they take your minerals that are under your ground? There's a conflict for mineral right owners that because lots of us buy land, but we don't own the mineral rights.
Well, let me talk to Brett again. Brett, y'all dealt with that too, didn't you?
Yeah, it was we had I think 2 legislative bills on that particular.
Did they get killed?
They did. We call it stranded minerals. We call it. That's kind of how we refer to it.
So can they come and do what this gentleman said?
What the concern is if you own the minerals underneath your property and someone and you are involuntarily put into that unit where they're doing the storage of the CO2. You didn't want to be in it to begin with, and now you can't get to your minerals underneath that CO2.
But those bills were killed.
They were. So what we wanted to do was to be able to require the industry to pay the difference of the cost to drill through that CO2 because you have to have a different kind of pipe and it's a lot more expensive. And we were trying to get that done so that you could still, 20 years from now, go down and get your minerals or lithium or who knows what's going to come up in the next 20 to 30 years. Who thought we'd be talking about solar?
But we had good bills for that. They just failed.
We had 2. Neil Reiser, Representative Reiser had one, and Representative McCormick had one. We had 2 people carrying instruments on that issue.
Hey, let me go back to something, Brent, because I want to get Brett's response, but I'll let you go back. You said you had a geologist there, and I'm just kind of curious. And I know you talked about some information. I heard some of it about how it's dangerous and all that stuff. What did you take out of that was so bad? Because I am curious.
So, a couple things. Of course, the hazardous ways and how it can react with minerals in our state. But one of the things that he brought up was the amount of rain that Louisiana gets. We are known for our wetlands and for the water. These can shift and cause a leak that happened like in Mississippi. The gentleman's name is Brad LeBlanc, and he's with the Bradford Mineral Corp. And one of the things that I found interesting was he had been trying to talk to legislators on both sides in Baton Rouge, and he's been unsuccessful. That right there is he wants to talk to those representatives because obviously sometimes you only hear one side of the story. And that's the good from the companies and their lobbyists.
Yeah, not Brett. Look, Representative Guyman, I've been friends with him. I've talked to him about all this stuff and the stuff that he's having to go through with all this. Now, Brett, when you talk about a geologist, you've did the same homework. You talk to people. You may not talk to this guy. I don't know, but can you fill us in a little bit about what you found out about from people like this?
Yeah, no, I know Brad very well. He's been to all of the town hall meetings that have taken place. I have not personally attended all the town hall meetings. I did go to one in Lacassine, but I know that he's been in, I think he's been in all of them. And according to him, he was.
But is his information pretty?
Well, I mean, he's looking at it from the oil and gas side. He does a Sweet Lake Land and Oil. He does the oil leases for them. He's very, very knowledgeable in the oil and gas industry, and a very nice gentleman. And he's also been to the Capitol with us. We had a meeting with stakeholders and grassroots people and legislators. We had, I think, a dozen legislators there. Brad was in that meeting as well. He's testified in our committee multiple times on his expertise in what's going on.
So what did you come out of?
Well, I mean, he's got great
of?
information. He's got great information. We've also had geologists from LSU come and do their, educate
Was there
us.
conflict?
Not really. I mean, I think Brad's thing is he doesn't want them comparing enhanced oil recovery to carbon capture and storage.
But I think that's legitimate.
It is legit.
You in the oil and gas
it's
industry,
legit.
that's
It's legit.
legitimate.
It's a similar process, but it's not the same.
The reason I
Correct.
bring it up, and I'm sure Brendan heard the same thing, is, we've been doing this. Not this. I don't think it's been
the volume,
doing this.
and I think he said it. The volume is
Brendan.
different. The depth at which they're storing it is different. The time, we're doing it permanently and not temporarily. We're not extracting it back out like we do with enhanced oil. So it's not the same. It's similar, but it's not the same. And I think Mr. Brad LeBlanc's big issue is he doesn't want us to be caught off guard to think that it is the same. So he educates people about it.
Hey, Brendan, because I'm curious, I had Tommy Fauché on. He felt like what they were doing was safe. From your perspective, Brendan, what you're watching, and with this gentleman, Brad, I can ask Brett the same question. Do you feel like this is safe, no problem?
Do I feel like this is safe?
Yeah, do you feel like what they do is safe?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, CCS is not safe. I mean, whenever you have fire chiefs and EMS departments talk about how their vehicles shut down because, this is cooled and liquefied and it's heavier than air, and all of us drive combustible engines. And then when they talk about going into different zones and their engines shut down, their fire trucks and EMS, they had to wear, full suits to enter these zones. People weren't able to evacuate. So I don't feel like CCS is safe.
Yeah, Brett, just your thoughts on the safeness of it, on everything you talked about.
No, we definitely have been trying to address the safety issues. Representative Shane Mack has filed multiple pieces of legislation on that. They've all been derailed along the way for the most part. But and we had I can't think of the gentleman's name from Mississippi that actually come to our committee and testify and tell us about the incident that took place and what happened. He and I have talked on the phone multiple times.
Well, let me do this. Brendan, don't go nowhere. Brett's going to stay. Representative Gomez going to stay. I want to come back just to Mississippi. Bring us up to date on what really happened. Brendan probably knows about it as well.
Yeah, he would have heard it last night, I'm sure.
Yeah, let me take a quick break. Come back and do one more segment. Matt Moscona is going to join us after 10:30 talk about the Tigers and their big walk to the World Series. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Attention Louisiana parents. It's time to take a stand to protect kids online. App stores are the gatekeepers of the digital world, yet they prioritize profit over child safety. Nearly every app comes with contracts that allow companies to track kids, sell data, and access their exact location or camera. House Bill 570 requires app stores to get a parent's approval before kids can download apps on their devices, giving the power back to parents to decide what their children do online. Parents need to say enough is enough. House Bill 570 holds app stores accountable and prevents big tech from being able to contract with children without your knowledge. Contact your legislators today and urge them to vote yes on HB 570 for App Store accountability. Together, we will protect Louisiana's children. Learn more at lafamilyforum.org. Paid for by the Louisiana Family Forum.
People don't realize she has.
This is Moon Griffon. You know I love a great Louisiana company, and one of those that I love is Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing and Exteriors is Louisiana's premier professional roofing contractor specializing in residential roofing services. Remember, your roof protects everything, all your possessions, and most importantly, your family. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks are not just your average roofer. They're the #1 roofing company in the state, and that's why I endorsed them. Whether you need repairs or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select shingle master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the fortified roofing system, and that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. For quality workmanship, premium products, and unparalleled customer service, it's Hudco Roofing. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you. HudcoRoofing.com. HudcoRoofing.com. roofing.com. Tell them Moon sent you.
Chastnut Brothers on Pinhook next to the railroad tracks, serving Acadiana since 1933, has the complete lineup of products from Fertilome. Fertilome, local solutions for local problems with over a half-century of total solutions. Chastnut Brothers carries Fertilome all-purpose, water-soluble plant food, organic Canadian sphagnum peat moss, horticultural vermiculite, Fertilome orchid, as well as perlite, tree and shrub food, start and grow plant food, azalea and evergreen food, along with Fertilome Ultimate. Now is the time to plant summer gardens, and Chastnut Brothers, along with Fertilome, can make that process a success, taking care of not only plant health, but even diseases, insects, and fungus. Gardening is sometimes tough, but rewarding, and Chastnut Brothers is right there in the dirt with you to make sure that whatever your gardening needs, you're taken care of. Chastnut Brothers on Pinhook and Lafayette, right next to the railroad tracks. Online at chastnutbrothers.com. Chastnut Brothers, where Acadiana gardeners shop.
Have you recently cut a large check to Auto Sign? How did that feel? If you're looking for a way to reduce your tax bills next year, especially if you're paying $100,000, $500,000, even more annually, listen closely. There are strategies used by the top 1% that can significantly reduce your tax burden. There are the same little-known provisions in the tax code that ultra-wealthy individuals and even members of Congress use. At Matthew James Tax Pros in Lafayette, they specialize in helping high-income earners like business owners, physicians, attorneys, contractors, and those in the oil and gas industry keep more of what they earn. If you're tired of writing 6- or 7-figure checks to the IRS, they'll show you strategies that could cut your taxes, sometimes by half or even more. Call us today at 337-895-0-TAX. That's 337-895-0829. Or visit MatthewJamesTaxPros.com. Take control of your taxes. Start today to make next April a lot less painful. Every tax situation is unique, and tax savings may vary. But she knows when it comes down to doing it. Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I've known him for years. 1-800-256-1010.
Mike's hot.
All right, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in conjunction with Guarantee Broadcasting, Talk 107.3 FM, allowing me to come in the studio, and I appreciate that. John sitting in, making sure the buttons are pressed. Hey, I got something for you after the show.
All right.
Okay? Don't let me leave. I got something for you.
I appreciate it.
Okay? And I'm going to let the police come after you, not me.
No, shoot.
All right. Brendan Dubrock is with us. Big powwow last night. Carbon capture meeting. Representative Brett Guyman, who's, I didn't say it at the beginning, head of natural resources. He is the chairman of the committee who's dealt with this stuff the whole time. And Brett, I want to go back to Mississippi, guys, and I'm going to start with you, Brett, because you talked to the people. They came in and testified. Yeah. What really happened in Mississippi?
Yeah, I think Brendan was on. He was right. What happened was there was an 8-inch pipeline that, because of a mudslide, because of some unique weather patterns and lots of rain, and it was going underneath the road, and there was a valley underneath it. Anyway, the perfect storm, if you want to call it that, and the pipe separated at the weld. And when you did that, so what happens when that breaks is the pressure of that CO2 between the two shutoff valves has to come out, and so it all escapes through that weld, and then it, as Brendan said, it forms a cloud because it's heavier than oxygen, and you can't breathe if you're in that cloud, and it dissipates, but it takes it a while. Well,
but let me ask you guys, how is that 100% avoidable? Because you got to grab carbon and do all this stuff at the top, and then run it down into the ground. I can see what could be a problem.
Well, if you have a leak, of course, but we had one in Sulphur, Louisiana, close to where I live recently as well. And you as long as you're not in that cloud, you're fine. And that's the challenge, is how do we make sure that we can get the people out of that cloud? And as his name is Briggs, if I remember right, Mr. Briggs said, their vehicles wouldn't run because they didn't know. The problem with them is they didn't know what they were getting into. That was the big problem. And what they were prepared for everything. They had the hazmat suits and all that, but they didn't know they were going into a CO2 cloud, and so their vehicles wouldn't run and things like that.
All that happened?
Yes, but they were able to get everybody safe. Everybody got out. It ended up being okay. Nobody lost their life, but it was an example of how we need to prepare for what could happen, even though that was a very unique and isolated incident. And pipelines generally are safe. Yeah. We know that's the safest way to transport. Yeah. But we have to be sure we're prepared for that incident to happen, and that's what we've been trying to do in the legislature, is make sure that the fire stations and the parishes are prepared with the proper equipment and training.
Now, Brendan, I would think the audience that was there last night, they really got concerned when they heard something like this.
Yeah, they did, because they felt like they weren't informed, but there was opportunities that they could went to some community watches, but it just wasn't publicly known, and that's why I tried to bring awareness to the crowd. Is we need to stop paying attention to what's happening in our backyard, but we need to pay attention to what's happening across Louisiana and the nation as a whole. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to lead into. And I was advocating for them also to contact their senators and congressional, and that this all started back with the 45Q tax credit that was a tie vote with 50% Republicans saying nay and Democrats saying yay, and the time vote was Kamala Harris. So I think the next step forward going is that Louisiana residents need to support Guyman and what they're doing in Baton Rouge, but we also need to take this to a national level and say, hey, we need to look at this 45Q tax credit and put some leashes on some of this.
Yeah. By the way, Brett, Representative Guyman, so used to calling you Brett, but there was a time you wasn't.
Sorry,
they wasn't a rep. No, you're good. What about that? I mean, this is really a national deal. It's all about the money. It really looks like this is 100% just about money.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have all this, but right here while we were talking, Brendan, you and me, we're talking about safety. That kind of worries me too, that we're talking about carbon capture. We have to talk about safety and address safety issues in this big a way. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about safety.
Yeah.
And if this is so good, why we, when they did gambling, they didn't talk about safety as much as we're talking about it now.
Well, I think the Mississippi incident taught us that we just need to be ready and prepared and trained for that.
But if that was to happen one time, and some people got sick, I won't even go dying, but got sick.
Well,
what would happen? I mean, that would alert a lot of people to be really concerned.
And Brendan's right. It's an issue that we need to be aware of, and the community needs to be aware of it, and the legislature needs to do what we can to protect people from it. But pipeline transportation is still the safest way to transport a product. I'd rather them do it in a pipeline than a truck.
Yeah.
So, if they're going to do it, that's probably the best way to do it. We just need to make sure that we're
I don't know if Brad calling carbon that we liquefy and put in the ground is a product.
Well, that's a challenge for the court to figure out.
Think
by the
about
way,
it though. A product for what? It doesn't do anything.
In South Dakota, the Supreme Court ruled that it was not a product that was useful for public benefit.
Where's the Supreme Court of Louisiana?
Well,
because it's not a product.
No one's challenged it yet because we haven't had it yet. Again, we're a little bit behind some of the other states.
Everybody that thinks it's a product ought to taste it and tell us what they think.
And Brendan's right, by the way. The tax credits are what's driving it.
Yep.
And industry would tell you the same thing.
Okay. Brendan, thank you very much for the update. We'll talk to you again. Thank you so much. And to you guys, Brett, thank you so much. I know you spent a little bit more time than you probably wanted to with me. Probably won't get to see you for a while. But I owe you a meal at Shucks in Lake Charles. I'm announcing it on the air.
Come on.
But now you got to want to come.
All right. Does it include the fishing trip there? I've been waiting on
trip, and we'll meet the wives. No doubt about it.
Sounds great. Thank you, Moon. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bye.
Matt Moscona, the Tigers. All that coming up next. As long as you did. I'm glad the combination of him and you did.
Attention, Louisiana parents. It's time to take a stand to protect kids online. App stores are the gatekeepers of the digital world, yet they prioritize profit over child safety. Nearly every app comes with contracts that allow companies to track kids, sell data, and access their exact location or camera. House Bill 570 requires app stores to get a parent's approval before kids can download apps on their devices, giving the power back to parents to decide what their children do online. Parents need to say enough is enough. House Bill 570 holds app stores accountable and prevents big tech from being able to contract with children without your knowledge. Contact your legislators today and urge them to vote yes on HB 570 for App Store accountability. Together, we will protect Louisiana's children. Learn more at lafamilyforum.org. Paid for by the Louisiana Family Forum.
At Service Chevrolet Cadillac, we're turning up the heat. Summer savings are in effect, and that means hot prices on top models. Take $10,000 off the MSRP on all new 2025 Silverado 1500s in stock. Plus, you can take $12,500 off the MSRP with trade assistance. That's $12,500 off all new 2025 Silverado 1500s in stock. Hurry and take advantage of big summer savings while they last. At Acadiana's #1 Chevrolet dealership, our family serving your family. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, your super Chevy dealer. 1212 Ambassador Caffrey near I-10. Stop by or log on at servicegm.com. Chevy, together let's drive.
Dealer discount $5,500, GM rebate $4,250, trade assistance $2,250. In stock units plus tax, title, license, and fees. Trade assistance must be 2011 or newer. Excludes 6.2 and 3.0 engine and work truck package. Must finance through GMF, A+ or AL tier. $1,000 rebate. Offers expire 6/30/25. Claims based on current GM data.
Welcome to the next generation in cataract care at LaHaye Total Eye Care, where breakthroughs in lens implant technology now allow patients to enjoy the broadest range of vision in ophthalmic history. These advances in cataract lenses allow patients to play a more active role in choosing the type of vision they want to enjoy after surgery. Come and discover a new way to see by calling 800-892-EYES for your cataract evaluation at LaHaye Total Eye Care.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're great at protecting your personal information. You might even use things like two-factor authentication and strong passwords. But as much as you try to control how your info is protected, there are other places that also have it, and they may not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save 40% your first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute.
Look, man, I ain't got a
sounds
lot
pretty
of money.
good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide.
I just believe
Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at
I do whatever y'all do. He left it open, I left it open. But I mean, to be honest with you, with my big loud mouth, I close that bitch every time so we don't interrupt everybody.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. But when I quit,
I was telling him,
sincerely.
You probably
to get your high blood pressure to a healthy range, visit heart.org/blood pressure. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
I was telling him everybody. It worth it. So I gave him a little bit of money, and he said, "What this cost?" But me, dude, you ain't got to be sitting there. Say that. I said, "I bet he's just like me. I bet he's just like me." You don't need to. You don't.
Mike's hot.
Hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road, beautiful Baton Rouge. I want to thank Guaranteed Broadcast and Talk 107.3 putting up with me. They got the studio set up to use it now, and that's a blessing. So anyway, we do appreciate them. It is the Matthew James Tax Reduction Hotline. My friend John Blanchett, MatthewJames.com. Check him out. This is an honor. This is always a pleasure to have this guy on. He started with this company right about the same time I did originally, and everybody's gonna know he's smarter than me. Okay, not when he talks, just for the action he made. I went political. He went sports, and he's one of the only programs you're gonna hear all over the state of Louisiana and beyond. His name is Matt Moscona. What's up, my brother?
Moon, how are you?
Well, I'm doing great. I notice you laugh every time you go, boy, did you make a mistake? And I'm having fun.
Hey, man, look, we go way back, man. We go back to 2003 WIBR.
Wow.
I mean, it's funny because I
forgot about that, man. I apologize.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
That's when we first crossed paths, when Clay Young was doing mornings and Ed Bugs. I was producing for Ed Bugs in the afternoon. And,
correct.
It's funny, man, because most people, I've just done sports for so long, most people just associate me with sports. It's very rare to run across people that were ever conceptually aware that I ever did anything in news, but I did for about 5 years before I jumped into sports.
Just for a little fun, before I got into this, I had my own catering business.
That a bet?
Okay, you ready? First call on the phone. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. I forget the lady's name. She said, hey, Moon. She said, this is on the air now. She said, that was the best crawfish etouffee. Can you give me the recipe? And so I'm laughing like
maybe she was calling to place an order.
I was laughing going, this is not what this is, but yes, ma'am, if you'll call me later. Anyway, you got to be able to laugh at yourself in the business. And people got to understand you do a really good job of giving information, but we're still in the entertainment business. I forget that sometimes because of what I deal with. I'd rather have more fun and cut up than I would ever talk serious.
Yeah.
Because it's really, even though we're serious about what we do, and I'm real serious about the stuff, you still want to have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And I think you do a good job of that to go along with the information you put out.
I always say take what you do seriously, don't take yourself seriously.
Yep.
That's a pretty good path. That's what, like last year I did this Bama is burning bit, where I just poked fun.
I know, I laughed so hard it wasn't even funny.
I mean, there was one time when they lost to Vanderbilt, I dressed up in a Grim Reaper costume and went in the studio playing 0-4 tuna. When they lost to Tennessee, I lit up a cigar in studio. You know, that thing with Tennessee and Bama is they smoke cigars. So when Bama lost, I lit up a cigar, played Rocky Top in studio. I had to get the blessing from the fourth floor to make sure it was okay for me to light
I know, but
I
happen to know when Bama got beat by Lowly Vanderbilt, I made sure I listened to you today. Because I knew it wasn't going to be nothing sweet. And but once again, that's not to hurt anybody's feeling. You're a Tiger, man. You're an LSU Tiger. You want to be everybody.
I want to hurt Alabama.
I know you do.
I want to hurt their feelings.
I know, I know you do. But when you say hurt feelings, you're still entertaining. You're still having a good time. And if they get their feelings hurt, so what?
Yep, I'm down. I'm here for it.
So let's move into Bill, what a big weekend. I text you. Everybody was talking about these SEC teams. In all fairness, we only cared about one getting in. Okay, we get in. LSU's in, you really don't care. But I always thought it was odd. You had a lot of teams, but you still got 25% of the field's SEC. The problem is they play each other. But I understand brackets. Those brackets are set way before. But there are a lot of people saying, well, I can't believe they make them play each other. Well, Vanderbilt wins and Texas wins and somebody else wins. It might have been a different scenario. This is the scenario we got.
You get 13 teams in the field. A lot of them are going to play each other. There's only 16 regionals. So, I mean, you're going to end up with some head-to-head matchups. I think the bigger maybe surprise was seeing some of the upsets. You know, watching Vanderbilt bow out early as the number 1 overall seed. Auburn got shellacked at home by good Coastal Carolina team. I mean, Moon, it's baseball, man. This is and it's hard, I think, for a lot of people who carry a football mindset into baseball. Like, LSU will never lose to Northwestern State in football, ever. It'll never happen. LSU baseball got run-ruled by Northwestern State this year. It's baseball. It's a game where you fail 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. It's a game predicated on failure and navigating failure to get to the successes. So the SEC had a bad weekend. Okay, that happens in baseball.
Way it goes.
And if LSU or Arkansas is holding the trophy at the end of the year, everyone's going to look at the coronation of the SEC, which for the last half decade has had a team, win the championship and has made up the finals each of the last 3 years. It's not even remotely close that the SEC is far and away the best league in baseball. They're the most committed, the most passionate fans. Sure. They make the most investment in rosters and coaches and facilities, and it shows on the field every single year.
But, Matt, you're going to agree with me. The game changes every day because there's a different arm out there every day.
No doubt.
Start, you got different relievers. Sometimes it looks like every pitcher. Look at LSU's pitching. Okay, I heard you yesterday, and you were right. I'm talking to my brother. Anderson and the other kid, what's his name?
Anthony Ianson.
Ianson. Well, I like him too. That wasn't their best games. Yep. Okay, but the Tigers roared, and they got a lot of walks, got a lot of hit by pitches, but they got the hits when they counted.
Yeah,
and that was the key, getting hits when they counted.
You can win when your starting pitching isn't at their best. That was a huge maybe boost for this LSU team. I think LSU should be the favorite in this field. I think Arkansas, probably top to bottom, is the best team. Led the SEC in batting average, led the SEC in fielding. They were just a tick behind LSU in staff ERA. But we saw Ole Miss in 2021, Moon, win a national championship when they were the last team in the field, last at-large team, but they won it because they had two pitchers. Dylan DeLucia, Hunter Elliott were awesome, and those two dudes never lost. And so they kept them in the winner's bracket. They paced right through. So if Anderson and Ianson can go win games 1 and 2, someone's got to come out of a loser's bracket, beat you twice. You win one of those, you're in the championship series, and guess what? You've got Anderson and Ianson queued up again. So the path has been there.
I think you agree with the key is if you can win the first two, and you said that, and I agree with you. You win the first two, you got them two guys, and they pitch well. You pull them out. Hey guys, rest. You're on a regular routine. See you next week.
Yeah, in the championship series.
But if you get to where you're coming out of it and have to win twice, using up a lot of pitches, you might have a day or two off, but you still have to get through the process.
Remember in 2023 when LSU won the national championship, LSU didn't use Paul Skeens in the championship series because they came out of the loser's bracket and he had to pitch that Skeens louder, the extra inning Tommy White walk-off. Paul Skeens had to pitch that game, so we didn't get to see him in the championship series. So it's a
that was kind of
benefit.
scary when you think.
Yes. But you had Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd step up and have great games, and guys you weren't counting on like Nate Atkinhausen and Griffin Herring.
Well, they got hot at the right time.
They did. Yeah. You had performances from pitchers in that College World Series that they had not given you all year, and it was amazing to see. And they paced it to a national championship. I would like a more stress-free path, Moon. Like, let's watch Anderson and Ianson just go shove, keep you in the winner's bracket, and go win this thing.
No, everybody wants it easy. No championship's easy. And then they don't give it to you. By the way, that Skeens fella, he's doing pretty good right now, too.
Oh,
but he plays on such a bad team. It's such a bad team.
Pittsburgh.
By the way, in his last two games, he's given up 1 earned run, and he's 0-1.
It's unbelievable.
And you go, but you know what? They at the bottom, they get draft picks. If the organization, which is not a very good organization, but if they were a really good organization, they would make all this work in a couple of years. I just don't know if they're that type of organization because if you notice, they don't like to spend any money. Yeah. And they've been like that for a long time. Yeah. So that's what bothers me for Skeens. Here's the good news for Skeens. If he stays healthy, one day there's a thing called free agency.
I was having this conversation with my buddy Ryan Terrio, and so the Pirates have team control through 2029. So they'll go through several years of arbitration, and Skeens will make a bunch of money. But effectively, the question is, and to finish the point, Terrio said he thinks Skeens will be a $1 billion pitcher, which will be interesting to see if they get there. Remember, Ohtani got a $750 million contract from the Dodgers, so it's not unheard of to think.
And that was years ago.
Yeah, that
was a year or two ago.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see. The Pirates have two approaches. You can either trade Paul Skeens now and get a team's entire farm system, like give me everything and make your whole roster better. Or do you think you will be able to compete before 2029? And if so, then you keep Paul Skeens. Because you're right. When he's a free agent, he's leaving Pittsburgh.
All of it has to do with health. Let me do this, Matt. I got a quick break, about a 10, 11-minute segment. Let you come back and sum up what you see in this series. Is LSU favorite? Should LSU beat a good Arkansas team? That seems like the first game is the toughest one on the whole series, but, it don't always work like that. So, anyway, his name is Matt Moscona. You can hear him all over the great state of Louisiana, and he covers a lot of Tigers and a lot of New Orleans Saints, among other things. We'll take a break. Be right back. Everybody knows the first game. And like you said, UCLA got the Murray State Duke game really good.
Hey, folks, have you heard about the Miracle 2?
Back and forth.
Oh,
and
my God, you need to get ready.
But since Murray State won, a little
all-natural skincare product.
Of course, the Carolina's not an outcast, but they only been there one time.
But they got this regular soap, moisturizing soap, neutralizer. gel lotion. These products are safe to use,
and they're good to line up.
And
They got
other
a lot of
cleaning needs
pictures.
from
I
easy
watched them the
cleans to
weekend.
biggest
They're
mess
good,
you
Matt.
know of.
And you know
These
when
products are manufactured. You ready and distributed right here in West Monroe, Louisiana.
Don't you think in
right here in
baseball,
Louisiana?
because
We've
of the
been
way it's
around
set
in
up,
business for 45 years. Google or find out on social media to check out Miracle 2 products. Or give us a call at 1-800-277-5444.
They have a great team, and then 5-10 years they don't
That's
have
1-800-277-5444.
all the
Go
time.
see what our
These big
customers
Power
have
Five
to say
teams
about
give them
Miracle 2.
opportunity to
There are
play.
tons of testimonies
LSU gives
online
ULM,
of people
and all
who
these
have
teams to play
used
them.
the
Don't you think
love
that
Miracle 2. Miracle 2.
Just
You
because they
owe it
play
to
so
yourself
many,
to go check
they
them out.
play a lot of
800-277-5444.
that are really
Folks, you heard us talking about Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Raging Cajun delicious line of gumbo, black-eyed peas, shrimp and grits, jambalaya, seafood grits, etouffee, red beans, roux, jalapenos. Raging Cajun's products are made right here in Acadiana now. Thanks to all of y'all, Raging Cajun is one of the fastest growing brands in grocery stores. Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Forget the rest, ask for the best. Ask them for that Raging Cajun. It's good, folks. Trust me. I love it. You will too.
Oh, man. Y'all hear me brag about Shucks all the time in Abbeville, the great seafood, the fresh seafood off the boat every day. Shucks has done it again. Their new location, 1301 Bayou View Drive in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Shucks has come to Lake Charles, Louisiana, not too far down from the casinos. All the great seafood you've been having at Shucks in Abbeville is now in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Whether it be Shucks in Abbeville or Shucks in Lake Charles, you're going to get fresh seafood daily. Shucks, come check us out. You're going to love it. I mean, he was. And
Spoon Farm, Acadiana's oldest and largest furniture store is Earl's Furniture. Earl's has been in business for over 65 years. It's where Acadiana goes for name brands like Mayo, Craftmaster, Best, Walker Lounger, Artisan, and Spring Air Mattress. And check this out. Earl's has the largest selection of lift chairs in Acadiana, and they have a repair shop to service any problem long after the sale. For great selection and great service, go see my buddy Earl Chasson at Earl's Furniture on the Abbeville Erath Highway in Grosse Ile.
I want to learn how to cook, but I
Go
keep
on,
ordering takeout.
I planned to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor. Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où? Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating over 16 million subscriptions sold. Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Yeah. So like about what you think the frustration may be, looks like you're getting or they you made a good point. 33 passes. That's a lot, but they got the I heard you don't think of this.
Mike's hot.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Microphone Show, last segment of this of the first 2 hours of the program. Talk on a 7.3 FM guaranteed broadcast. Can't thank him enough. Matt Moscona, I'm doing my inner Matt Moscona right now in sports. I'm telling Matt what he said last week, the week before last. Matt's over here laughing. Matt, so best bet for the Tigers, of course, win the first 2 games. But talk a little bit about this team, because this ain't the 2023 team. This is a totally different team. They do a lot of things different. I see them bunt sometime. I mean, they do some things different.
That team in 23 was far more offensive, and they were a little top-heavy. You know, you had Skeens and Cruz and Tommy White, very, very talented team. But maybe you didn't have the depth on the pitching staff. Skeens was amazing, right? And late in the season, we saw Thatcher Hurd emerge, and Ty Floyd was amazing in Omaha. This team, I love Ben McDonald has said on the broadcast, I'll steal his line. This team specializes in run prevention. They pitch it, and they're very good defensively. Typically, Moon, like the benchmark for MLB teams defensively, you want to field 980. Like, you never see an MLB team fielding below 980.
If they do, they're probably having a bad year.
Well, those guys getting cut and they're bringing up guys that are gonna field above 980. But this LSU team, they committed a couple errors this weekend, but they're at 981. So they're an elite defensive team, and you got 8 guys that throw 95 plus. I mean, you go to the bullpen, get Chase Shores, and he's shoving 101 down your throat. You know what I mean? So
they got some big guys.
Yeah.
It's like when they let go of the ball, they at the home plate, 6'8", 6'9", 6'7". Man, that's big kids.
It's such a difference too. I would say offensive. I mean, Ethan Fry is 6'6", runs like a gazelle. You know what I mean?
He's been special this year.
Yeah,
he's been really
awesome.
good.
Jared Jones is huge, and it's such a difference. At the end of the Maneri era, whenever they switched the bats and they deadened the bats, the ball just didn't fly, so there wasn't as much sense in trying to recruit power hitters. So what Paul Maneri did was recruit a lot of shortstops and center fielders. I mean, he
had a lot of. I talked to Steve and my brother. We talked about it. He said, Monero, it looked like you recruited small kids. Not cutting small kids, some of the best. Yeah. I mean, Monster's a pretty good player, and he's not a big kid.
But he's also got some pop in his back.
Yeah, a lot of pop.
But in that era, I mean, think about when you'd have like Mark Laird and Andrew Stevenson and Antoine Duplantis. You had guys that covered a ton of ground defensively and could handle the bat. You just didn't have as much of a power nurse. Now they switched the bats, but they've lowered the seam on the ball. They've livened the bats up. And so now you're seeing the big guys come back into the sport, and you're recruiting these big dudes that can crush a ball 420 feet like Jared Jones or Jake Brown. My God, the home run he hit to center field, 417 straightaway center. You asked for the comp. It's just this team is just different than that team in 2023. Probably better defensively, deeper pitching staff. Not quite as good offensively as that team was in 2023.
But Coach Johnson is a different coach too, and so I'm watching the game the other night. I lived in Monroe for a long time, and I watched this Pearson kid grow up, Josh.
Sure.
Not his brother, but him. And I watched him at 15 play against my kid, and beat it over the fence and against the wall. So we've always followed the kid. We got a big coach. He hadn't been playing as much. That's fine. That's just part of coach. He sticks him in the lineup the other day, puts him in the 1-hole, drops Curiel to 6th, 7th, I think. And all of a sudden, they both producing in that night. And then Jones hits one. And I'm going, he drops him down. He's moving these kids around at the right time. How do you have that kind of instinct?
Yeah. I think that was the game where, in game 1 of the Supers, where Pearson led off, they were facing the starting lefty from West Virginia. Griffin Kern is his name. And I think what Jay Johnson was trying to do was stack righties. So they went Pearson lead off, and then went 5 straight right-handed bats against the lefty.
You got to Corral. That's right.
They were trying to get him out of the lineup. Yeah. They were trying to get him out of the game. They did. They got him out of the game in the second inning. I don't think there's any reality where Derek Curiel should ever be batting 7th on anybody's team ever.
I thought exactly when I saw him down. I said, "They look like you punishing him."
Well, and I'll tell you what. Like the challenge is they had, and we're going really inside baseball here, but Curiel was batting 7th, and you had Braswell batting 8th. And Braswell, who's been a really good player, but he's been an automatic out. What you never want to see happen is Curiel doubles, like he did to lead off the game Sunday, and then Braswell's behind him and he's an out, and then you strand a runner at second, right? So that's why you want your table setters at the top of the line to get on base for your run producers. So that's what they've done. That's what I think they'll do in the postseason. I think that was just a weird one-off where Jay had an instinct to say, let's load the top of the lineup with righties to get their starter out because their bullpen is
Jones went back. I think they may have been moved him up to 4th or 5th. And then you had Fry was second. Well, Fry was hot. Fry got it really, really hot. I was just kind of curious because this team, they run a little bit. They've got better pitching for us overall, and it looks like they got a deeper bench. So they're doing it a little bit different. What do you think's the Achilles heel for the team going into this thing? If that, I know they got some. I don't want to go negative, but just 2 or 3 things to say if this happens, this would be a problem.
Well, the 2 that we followed all year, one is the bullpen's inability to throw strikes. Walks have gotten him in trouble. And Moon, at the beginning of the season, that was such a point of contention. But, for the first 6-8 weeks of the season, you're trying to figure out what you have and who fits in what role. And so you're running these guys out there to get a mound time to see what you have. But Skip used to always say, by the time you get to Omaha, I need 7 guys. Seven arms that can get me through a postseason. And the format's a little different now, so maybe you can stretch that to 8. But the bottom line is, like, you've got your guys that are only going to pitch when you're up 10 or down 10. You've really honed in on Anderson, Ianson, Cowan, Evans, Shores, Newt. Cooper Williams was so good the other day as well. I'd throw Jacob Myers out there. Like, you know who the guys are that in whatever situation, that's who LSU is going to lean on. But you saw it in the loss to Little Rock. What got them in trouble? They walked 9 guys. I mean, bullpen throw strikes, and then at times the offense would go into the deep freeze.
You think when they lost to Little Rock, there was a little panic set in? Not with the players, more with the fans, because players know it's baseball, like you said. You're going to get beat sometime. And you look at a school like Little Rock, they got hot at the right time. They were playing with a lot of confidence. That's what they would do. They were just playing on a lot of confidence.
I don't think there was panic when they lost to Little Rock, Moon. I think there was panic the next day when they were down 5-1 in the second.
Yeah.
Like, now that was like,
was that
more really was that panic?
Happen? Was that panic of the team, or that was a panic of Matt Moscona and the fans?
Well, I've conditioned myself doing this long enough to where I don't really move emotionally very much, but Brother Moon,
I mean, open up,
5-1 in the second inning and a win or your season is over against a 4 seed that was the lowest RPI team in the field. There was a lot of people going, what in the world is happening?
I don't, all these games, I just don't worry about it when it's early in a baseball game. And the reason is not like football and basketball where you got a shot clock or you got quarters. You got 27 outs, brother.
Gotta get them all.
And guess what? You could be 2 out, down by 10 in the 9th inning, and I've seen people rally for 9 runs. Baseball, once again, going back to what you opened up with, that it's a different game. I still believe that. So I don't have to panic on that because things change in baseball, changing a pitcher. Guys rolling for 8 innings, and he put somebody else in, they bomb them. Just baseball.
Yeah. That's why you either love the sport or you hate it. I love it. I mean, I'm a baseball nut. I'm actually going this weekend. I'll be up at Fenway.
I was going to ask you, are you going?
No, I'll be at Fenway watching Yankees-Red Sox this weekend, as a matter of fact. So,
you're not going to World Series.
I'm not going.
Shocked.
I've had this trip planned for a long time, so I'm looking forward to going. But of course I'll be watching.
What if they get to the championship? What is 2 out of 3? Will you try to make it?
No. All my obligations keep me here. So we're sending Hunt Palmer, who's our midday host on ESPN Baton Rouge.
Can you send me?
And
I do play-by-play for you, man.
I'll be happy to book a flight for you, man. Just give me your credit card. We'll book a flight.
John, give the man some money, brother. Give the man some money. Ought to be interested.
No, but Hunt will be doing a show up there, and he'll be covering it for us for LouisianaSports.net as well.
So, Matt, how can people hear you if they? I know they can to find out your stations and all that. What website they need to go to find out everything?
Yeah, everything is on 1045ESPN.com or LouisianaSports.net. But for our listeners in Acadia, and we're syndicated there on 1037 in Lafayette, 1041 in Lake Charles. We appreciate our affiliates over there and Cenla and Alexandria.
You probably
as
just
well.
got me fired from Lafayette.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just shouting out all our affiliates, man.
Matt. It's Moon. You okay?
I got it.
Hey, we like to do it out front and honest up front. We good. Matt, God bless you, man. It's so good to see you.
Appreciate you, man.
And best of luck. All right, folks, that's wrapping up this hour. God bless. Have a great day.